Hello everybody. Today we have a new deck tech for Uril the Miststalker. He is a legendary from Alara Reborn. He is in the Naya colors. He is two colorless, red, green, and white. He's a 5/5 and has hexproof, and every enchantment aura you put on him, he gets a +2/+2 for that. Okay, and this is built for multiplayer. So here is my build of Uril the Miststalker. First we have a nice utility creature. We have Kasali Pride Mage. I use him for fast artifact and enchantment destruction. He is a green-white creature. He's a 2/2, as you can see. He's as Exalted. Exalted is his main ability that works with me, giving my general normally a +1/+1 when he attacks. Next we have is Safi, Eric's daughter. Safi, Eric's daughter is a green-white creature. It's a 2/2. I normally play Safi, Eric's daughter when I know that there's going to be a wrath coming, because it allows me to sacrifice her in response to my creatures dying and keep my general on the field. As in my other decks, I use Steel Hellkite as a convert a mana cost to Wrath. It's a 6 mana cost dragon. He's a 5/5, and he has fire breathing. And as I said, he's got the Wrath ability when he does damage. Next I have Solemn Simulacrum. It's 4 converted mana cost. He's a 2/2. This basically allows me to get a land into play tapped. It's basic when he comes on the field, and then I get to draw a card when he dies. Revelark, a card that can stay or go in this deck. He's 5 mana cost. He's a 4/3, and when he leaves play, not when he dies, not when he goes to the graveyard. So when he gets removed, either removed from the game or he goes to a graveyard. Anytime he has that movement, he gets his ability to get 2/2/2s back, or any power of 2 or less. I use all the creatures in this deck are pretty small except for Uril, and so Revelark will hit a good bit of them after a good Wrath. Next I have Grand Abolisher. I don't run City of Solitude in here, so I put Grand Abolisher in here for City of Solitude. He's 2 mana for a 2/2, and during my turn, my opponents can't cast spells, activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Now we get into the enchantment-based creatures. First we have Mesa Enchantress. She is 3 mana cost, 0/2, and whenever I cast an enchantment spell, I draw a card. Umbra Mystic. She is 3 mana cost, so 2/2, and gives all auras attached to permanents I control totem armor. So my general, he can have 6 totem armors at one time on him, even though only one of them might be a totem armor in the end. And even my little creatures, if I have just a random, maybe a Mark of Fury on him until end of turn, it turns into a totem armor. Now we have Sun Titan. Sun Titan hits most of my enchantments and artifacts in this deck. He's there for utility to bring back everything that I lose normally. In a one-on-one game, Sun Titan is kind of beastly. In my multiplayer game, he's a little slow, but he's still a great addition to this deck. Academy Rector, one of the key card tutors in this deck for enchantments. He's 4 mana cost at 1/2, and he allows me to get my enchantments from my deck to the field automatically when he dies, but you have to remove him from your graveyard and remove him from the game. Next we have Lost Auramancers. It's 2 and white, so 4, and a 3/3 power and toughness. He has Vanishing 3, so he goes if he survives 3 turns on the field, remove the counters, and you get the ability that when he is put in the graveyard with no counters onto him, you can search your library for any enchantment and put it onto the field. Basically, the Future Sight version of Academy Rector. We have Sakura Tribuilder, 2 converted mana cost, 1/1. Can sack for a land, basic, into play tapped. Another one of my enchantment creatures. This is Argothian Enchantress. She's a 0/1. She has Shroud, and whenever I successfully cast a enchantment card, draw a card from my deck. Verdun Enchantress. She's a 0/2 for 3 mana, and another, whenever I play an enchantment, I may draw a card. Acidic Slime, just a utility creature to destroy destroy any target, artifact, enchantment, or land. It's a 2/2 for 5 mana. Yavimaya Elder, a pretty good creature in this deck for 3 mana. He's a 2/1, and when he goes to the graveyard, normally you use his second ability to put in the graveyard, but I'll get 2 basic lands to my hand, and I get to draw a card when he dies. Eternal Witness, 3 mana, 2/1. Get any card from my graveyard back to my hand. Here we have some utility artifacts now. This is Expedition Map. This allows me to search any of my decks for my utility lands, or to get my dual lands for mana fixing. We have the usual Soul Ring in almost every deck. Coalition Relic for more soul fixing, or mana fixing. A Darksteel Ingot for mana fixing, and can't destroy. Crucible Worlds for that rare time where I have Sun Titan, Strip Mine, and Crucible out on the field, and just start going and destroying people's lands for the fun of it. Here you have some equipment now. We have Sword of Fire and Ice. It gives me +2/+2 pro red and pro blue, and it does 2 damage to target creature or player, and I get to draw a card when the creature does damage to my player. Next we have Sword of Feast and Famine. I do run the infinite combo in here, as you saw in Kalia. Same infinite combo. Sword of Feast and Famine gives me +2/+2 pro black and pro green. When it deals damage to a player, I get to have them discard a card and untap all my lands. Now we hit the sorceries in the deck. I run Decimate in here. Decimate is 4 mana cost, and destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. This is a really great card because no matter what, when you cast this, you're gonna hit 4 different things. Next we have 3 Dreams. 3 Dreams is 5 mana, and you can search your library for up to 3 aura cards with different names and reveal them, and then put them into my hand and then shuffle. Here we have one of my wraths. It's Winds of Wrath for 5 mana. Destroy all creatures with no enchantments on them, and they cannot be generated. This is for the obvious, so anything on my deck that's enchanted, any of my creatures, mostly my general, and they just get destroyed. Next we have Idyllic Tutor. It's a 3 mana cost to search my library for enchantment and put it in my hand and shuffle. Perhaps the best rebirth card in this deck is Replenish. It's 4 mana. Return all enchantment cards from my graveyard to play. Here we have a kind of messed up Wrath, I guess you could say. It's 4 mana, and each player chooses from the permanents he or she controls an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a land, and sacrifices the rest. So, say I have, I guess you could say, the God Field, where I have Uril, Relentless Assault, and a Sword of Feast and Famine on the field, and I can have 1 land. Won't have infinite mana, but I can work up to it. You can just keep with that. Regrowth, it's for 2 mana, bring any card from my graveyard to my hand. Soul's Majesty is for 5 mana. Normally you're going to target your general with this, so draw cards equal to the power of target creature you control. Most of the time I'm drawing 10 or more cards off of Soul Majesty. Sylvan Scrying for 2 mana. Basically tutoring for any of your dual lands or any of your utility lands in the deck. And then it just goes to your hand. Then you have Instances. Eladamri's Call. It's green-white. And it has search your library for a creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Then we have the other tutor in this deck, Enlightened Tutor. It's 1 white, and search your library for an artifact, enchantment card, or enchantment card, and reveal it, and then shuffle your library, and then put it on top of your deck. Worldly Tutor, the creature version of Enlightened Tutor. Then we have Crossing Grip. Destroy target artifact or enchantment for 3 mana. It has split second, so nobody can counter it. The most expensive card in this deck, basically, Eldrazi Conscription. If this sticks on Uril, you're normally going to win the game. It's 8 mana. It has +10/+10 trample and Annihilator 2. So with Uril on and maybe one more enchantment, Uril becomes 14/14, or sorry, a 19/19 maybe with Annihilator 2 and trample. We have Armadillo Cloak, 3 mana cost. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and trample, and whenever it deals that damage, it gains life. So another early life gain for Uril. Shield of Oversoul, perhaps probably one of the key enchantments in this deck for Uril. Allows my general to get a +1/+1 for each of the colors that it has, green and white, and then it gives it indestructibility for being green and flying for being white. And the opposite colors, we have Runes of the Deus. It's 5 mana. He gets a +1/+1 for being both of the colors, and then for being red he gets double strike, and for being green he gets trample. Now you're actually into the worldly enchantments. This is Sterling Grove. It's green and white, and all other enchantments I control have Shroud, and I can pay 1 colorless to sacrifice it, tutor my library for an enchantment, put it on top of my deck, and then shuffle and then put it on top of my deck. Here you have Aura Shards. Whenever a creature comes into play under my control, I can destroy target artifact or enchantment. This can probably come out of here because I don't run Pollen Bright Wings anymore, and normally that would let me destroy 5 or 6 artifacts and enchantments in the game, but I haven't found a replacement for Aura Shards yet. Moravia's Wake. It's 3 and green-white, 5 mana cost. It gives my creatures I control a +1/+1, and whenever I tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of your mana pool of the type that land will produce. So, if you tap a dual land, you can get 2 red, or 2 green, or 2 white, and etc., etc. But it can work for colorless too, but it does not work for filter lands. Well, actually, I think it does work for filter lands. Privileged Position. It's 5 mana cost, and other permanents I control have Shroud. You use this in conjunction with, let me get it out for you. Here you go. Use it in conjunction with Sterling Grove, and you have none of your enchantments are being able to touch it at all. I mean, they could still be destroyed, but by like a Wrath or Austere Command, but they're still pretty good. Land tax for mana fixing. Best to get in the first 4 or 5 turns. Otherwise, you're not going to need it too much. Otherwise, you're just thinning your deck, really. Aura of Silence, it's 3 mana. This makes all your... This is the not the errated one, but the errated one is all opponents have to pay 2 more addition to play artifacts and enchantments, and you can sacrifice Aura of Silence to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Next we have Battle Mastery. Battle Mastery is a 3 converted mana cost enchantment that says enchanted creature has double strike. It's not the only enchantment here that gives my creatures double strike, but it's still pretty good to get out early. Prison Term is in here to stop nuisance generals, or just nuisance creatures like it's on Titan normally it gets onto. It's 3 mana cost. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, or have its activated abilities played. And then if another creature comes into play, I can put it on another creature. Here we have Angelic Destiny. It's 4 mana. Gives my creature a +4/+4 flying first strike, and it becomes an angel. So Uril becomes an angel normally. And then when the creature dies, I can return this to my hand. It's like a reverse Rancor. You have one of the key enchantments that goes in an Uril deck. It's Unquestioned Authority. It's 3 mana, and it's a nice cantrip enchantment. When it comes into play, draw a card. The enchanted creature has pro creatures. Next we have Sarah's Embrace. It's 4 mana cost. I wanted to put in something that would give my general another flying ability, so it gets +2/+2 flying and vigilance. Here we have Flicker Form. Flicker Form is a enchantment that I might take out of here because mana is kind of tight in this deck a lot of the times. So having 4 mana open is normally not what you're going to do, because everything is normally going to be spent on playing the enchantments every turn. So if I can find something better than Flicker Form to put in here, I might do it. But it is a great enchantment to have in here when your general is going to be wrapped and you have the mana up to do it, because it saves all the enchantments on your general. They all get blinked at the same time and then come back in. Next we have Aggravated Assault, 3 mana cost. It has the ability to pay 5 mana and tap all the creatures I control, and I get another battle phase. And I can keep doing that if I have Sword of Feast and Famine on him and 5 mana. Just do it over and over again and just win the game. Mark of Fury. It's 1 red. Give target creature has haste that it's attached to. And then at the end of turn, it returns to my hand. So I play Uril turn 4. Put this on him. He gets a +2/+2 and haste. Then it returns to my hand end of turn. And keep doing that every turn. Here we have Sylvan Library. Basically a top on an enchantment, or even better than a top because you can draw cards off of it. Nature's Will is one of my recent additions to this deck. It's 4 mana, and whenever 1 or more creatures I control deal combat damage to a player, tap all lands that player controls and untap all lands you control. This is fun for locking down opponents early game if I can get it out, but late game it also helps too. Here we have Enchantress's Presence. Just another enchantment that says when I play an enchantment, I draw a card. It's 3 converted mana cost. Now you have Bear Umbra. It's 4 mana. Has Totem Armor built into it. And when it gets +2/+2, and has whenever it attacks, not when it does damage, but when it attacks, I untap all my lands. It's a great card to have early in Uril to be playing those enchantments over and over. Of course, we have to have the usual Rancor card in here, giving my creature +2/+0 and trample for 1 green, and when Rancor goes to the graveyard, it goes back to my hand. I have Abundance in here, so I can do the Abundance Sylvan Library combo or I wouldn't really say combo, just card draw fixing. So for abundance, it's 4 mana to, instead of drawing a card, I can choose a land or non-land and reveal cards from the top of my deck until I get the chosen kind, then put that card into my hand, and then if other ones that are revealed that aren't the chosen kind, they just get put in the bottom of my library in any order. Now we get to our lands. I very rarely use Reliquary Tower ability in this deck because I'm not drawing a ton of cards, but I just tend to put it as a required land in every deck. Kessig Wolf Run, colorless, gives my general trample and +X/+0 for the ability. I've won a few times with Kessig, and it's a pretty beastly land. We have Slayer's Stronghold. By the time I get Uril out, I have enough mana to make this worth it, giving my general +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. We have Sunhome, the first Slayer Stronghold, gives for 2 red and white, gives my target creature double strike until end of turn. And what is this creature deck without a Core Haven in it, preventing another Voltron General from coming at me? I can pay 1 colorless and 1 white to prevent all combat damage that will be dealt by target attacking creature this turn. We have Yavimaya Hollow. Because Uril is a beast, you can use the ability to tap 1 green to regenerate target creature. And then we have Strip Mine. So if I do the Sun Titan Strip Mine Crucible combo, this is the card I would use. Now we get into our colored mana. We have Jungle Shrine because it fits our Naya colors. Command Tower because also it is all of the Naya colors. Reflecting Pool. It can be Naya colors, just depends on what I have out. We have fetch lands. We only have 2 in this deck right now. I have Arid Mesa and the pretty slow fetch land, the Croson Verge. And we have our filters, Rugged Prairie. Rugged Prairie, Firelit Thicket, and Wooded Bastion. Then we come to the dual lands in this deck, Plateau, a Sacred Foundry, a Clifftop Retreat, Taiga, Stomping Ground, Rootbound Crag. This is Savannah. It's written badly in ink up here. I just have it in another deck, so I just made a proxy of it. Temple Garden, Stirring Wildwood. I didn't have the green-white M10 land on me at the time I built this, so I ended up just putting in Stirring Wildwood because it's also a nice 3/4 trample creature, reach creature. Aganjo's Castle, preventing any damage to any of those little creatures. If they're legendary, that I can prevent. It could become a political card. Next we have Shinka, giving my general first strike till end of turn. And then after this we just have our basic lands. In this deck I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plains. I have 1, 2, 3 mountains, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forests. You can try to put in more dual lands if you want, if you can find any of them. I don't recommend putting in the tap duals because they will slow you down a lot in this deck. But any awesome enchantments can go in this deck. If you can build Uril on small cheap enchantments or big grandiose enchantments, but do include really good or world enchantments for yourself or for against your opponents. Sometimes I almost wish this deck had black in it so I could run the Abyss just for the fun of it. But that's my Uril deck for you, and come back later for more deck techs from me. Thank you very much.